Let's work now on class discussion 7, finding vertex and equation of axis of symmetry. Okay, so you're given the problem here. What are the vertex and axis of symmetry of the parabola? So vertex and axis of symmetry of the parabola. Now let's look at the drawing here. So use illustration and definitions below about quadratic functions to answer this question. So if this is the graph of the parabola, the lowest point that we have discussed, this is actually where the vertex is. Okay, and when you draw a vertical line that is passing through the vertex, we call that one as the axis of symmetry. Now you're given this function here, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That is the standard form of the quadratic equation. Now let's read the definition first. So we have here the axis of symmetry. A line of symmetry of a parabola divides the parabola into two equal halves. Yeah, divides the parabola into two equal halves that are reflections of each other. So what we are saying here is that, so if this is the line of symmetry, so this one is actually same shape. So this part here is actually a reflection of the other. Let me just use a different color here. Okay, so this one, so this part here are the same. Okay, so this part here. So that's the axis of symmetry. It cuts the parabola into two equal halves. Okay, now a reflection of each other about the line of symmetry. So you see here the line of symmetry is this one, or the axis of symmetry. Line of symmetry or axis of symmetry are the same. So this one is also the same as axis of symmetry. Now it is the vertical line with the equation x equals negative b over 2a. So this is the equation of the axis of symmetry. This is our equation. X equals negative b over 2a. Now where is this coming from, the negative b over 2a? When you look at the standard form, a is the number before x squared and b is the number before x. So that's where it's coming from. This formula, you have to look at the standard form of the quadratic equation. Now let's look at the vertex, the turning point of the parabola. So turning point is because when you try to look at here, trace the parabola, this is going down. After the vertex, it is now going up. That's why it's called also the turning point. It means it's changing its behavior from going down. After the vertex, it is going up. Now there are two possible situations that you can see for a vertex. Sometimes a vertex has a minimum, or sometimes it has a maximum. Now if a parabola is if a is positive value, the vertex will have a minimum. So meaning to say that this one, we're looking at the number before x squared. So here, if a is positive, it means it has a minimum. Okay, now if a is negative value, then the vertex will be a maximum. So if a is negative, then it means it has a maximum. Now what's the graph look like? So minimum is like this. So that would be the vertex. So this is actually upward, and maximum means the graph would be like this. Okay, this is your vertex, and this is actually downward. So these are the two possible graphs that you can actually see when you are graphing a parabola. Sometimes it is opening upward, or sometimes it is actually downward. And it's very easy to identify, because when you try to trace, you have the lowest point, meaning to say you have the minimum. When you're this one, you are on the top, that means you have the maximum. So this is the basic idea of the vertex and the axis of symmetry. The x value of the vertex should be given by the axis of symmetry, and we plug that value into the equation to find the matching y value of the vertex. Okay, so let's use this idea to answer the question. So what are the vertex and axis of symmetry of the parabola? Okay, so between these two, to find the vertex, we have to find first the axis of symmetry. So let's find this first and find second vertex. Okay, so the formula given is x equals negative b over 2a. So we need to identify what is the value of a and what is the value of b. Now here, you have to make sure that the given equation is in standard form. So let's see, you have y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So by comparison now, I'm looking at x squared. The number before x squared, when there's no number, it is understood to be 1. So I would say a is equal to 1. And here, I'm looking at x here. The number in front of x is your b value, which is actually negative 16. So once you identified your values for a and b, then you just simply plug it in on the formula. So we have here x equals, so I'm trying to highlight the formula here. Okay, so this is the formula we are using, this one. Okay, so this is your axis of symmetry. Okay, so let's plug in now the values. We have here negative, then we have b value is negative 16. Be careful with this one because you have a double negative. Then you have 2 times the value of a is 1. So we have now x equals, do that in the calculator. So let's clear this one. Okay, so we have here negative 16 is positive 16 over 2, and this one now x equals, so 16 divided by 2, that gives me 8. So x equals 8. This is my axis of symmetry, and it's easy to remember. X is, okay, so axis x is, so axis of symmetry, so x is equal to 8. So when you try to look at the choices, I would say x equals 8. So I see axis of symmetry, x equals 8. This is also x equals 8. So if I'm looking at the choices, the one that says not equal to 8, that is not anymore the solution. So this one, this is already out of the possibility. Now, how to find the vertex now? So to find the vertex here, we simply plug in the value of x here, the axis of symmetry, and the given function. So find the vertex. So first, we find the axis of symmetry. Then second, we find the vertex. So find the vertex. So to find the vertex, we simply plug in on the given equation. Y equals, I'll just copy it first, x squared minus 16x plus 63. So we have x already found from the axis of symmetry. X is equal to 8. So I just plug it in. So we have here 8 squared minus 16 times 8 plus 63. Then simply do that on the calculator. So we have here, enter everything. So you have here 8 parentheses. So we have 8 parentheses squared minus 16 times 8, then plus 63. Just enter everything in the calculator. Then press enter. So this one gives you -1. So this is your y value, -1, when x is equal to 8. So which means therefore our vertex is at 8, -1. So this should be our vertex. So let's see what option would that be. So that is 8, -1. So it would be option number 1. Okay, so that would be the steps. So these are actually the steps we try to remember. So we plug it in. So we use the formula, then we plug it in here. Okay, so this one, try to highlight. We plug it in here. Whatever you got here, you plug it in here. Okay, so those are the basic steps. Okay.